Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so earlier today, I did put out a video talking about the details for the upcoming Dokkan Fest RADITZ that was shared by the official JP Dokkan Twitter page. And as usual, when information about a new unit has come out, Twitter has been on fire with everybody giving their opinions, mostly negative, because RADITZ definitely does not seem as impressive as the last couple of Dokkan Fest units that we've gotten. Remember, in terms of JP, obviously Majin Vegeta for Saiyan Day released on both versions at the same time. But for JP, we're in a post-7th anniversary world, where not only do the 7th anniversary LRs exist, but the first Dokkan Fest to come out after them was, of course, Captain Ginyu, who is a unit that is basically kind of, in a lot of people's opinion, challenging Super Saiyan 2/3 Physical Goku for best TUR in the game. So obviously after that kind of release schedule, bringing out a unit that on paper is not looking very impressive to a lot of people is definitely a it's got people feeling a certain type of way, let's just say that. So not long after I put up my video and everyone was discussing him on the timeline, straight away I started seeing people use the hashtag BADITZ, which I've obviously put in this tweet here. You'll have seen it in the thumbnail. So yeah, making a community response video about BADITZ. And I asked people to leave their takes in the comments. Obviously, a load of people had already made tweets showing off like the numbers and stuff like that. So obviously, it's a lot easier for people to just tweet like the reply, like the link to that tweet in the reply, rather than typing it all out again. But yeah, we're going to go through and see what the community thinks about Dokkan Fest RADITZ. So shout out to my boy AC. He says his leader skill is meh, his design is strange, he wants to be slot 1, but also relies on raw stats, which as we've seen isn't what a slot 1 unit wants. Seems pretty mid. Yeah, because the problem is, I didn't realise this when I first read out his information on that video earlier today, but he has to be hit first in slot 1, not just to get the crit chance, which we did kind of figure, but to get that extra 150% defense, he has to be hit first as well. So that makes him a very dangerous unit to put in slot 1, especially in something like Pure Saiyan's Extreme Super Battle Road. Like if that first attack is a super attack, he's going to take a lot of damage, and then even after he does get that buff, his defense is going to be high, but not like high enough that he's going to be tanking super attacks in ESBR. So definitely parts of his design do seem kind of weird. Then we have Cracked Eggs. So Tech Ulma Gohan showing that he can indeed be better than a 2022 Dokkan Fest TUR. Yeah, unsurprisingly, with the release of a new unit, I've already seen plenty of memes about how Tech Gohan is better. Now, obviously, this is something we did mention in the video earlier today. The fact that Raditz leads Pure Saiyans with an extra 30% to Space Traveling Warriors means that it could be pretty likely that Raditz gets his, Turles gets his Easy A with this celebration, which would be awesome. Definitely been looking forward to this Easy A for a very long time. So he obviously fits the theme of the celebration. Like, he's not a Saiyan Saga unit, but he's on Raditz's leader skill. He's a low class warrior, Saiyan like Raditz. So definitely fits in perfectly to Easy A this guy during this celebration. But I guess we shall have to see. Then we have, is this Amin or Amin? I don't know if it's Amine because it's spelt like anime, but just the wrong way around, right? So imagine being on the same level as Inkabe. I mean, I think that is maybe a little bit of a underestimation. Like, I did tweet earlier, for you guys who do follow me on Twitter, obviously make sure you do if you're interested in having some of your thoughts or like replies show up in future videos like this. Make sure you are following me at the Mars Thinking. But I did tweet out saying that, like, this does seem like the typical thing where people underrate the new unit when they see their stats and everything on paper, and then when the level 10 links like Rainbow private server showcases drop, I wouldn't be surprised to see them being a little bit better than expected. So I don't know if saying he's on Inkabe level is quite fair, but they designed him around numbers only, aka no utility, yet his numbers itself aren't even high compared to Ginyu or the androids. So yeah, this is, a lot of people have been making this point, and it is very true. Even if he does get hit first, he just has raw defense. So considering he's an AoE unit, you would assume that based on the fact that he's a supreme damage AoE, they want you to use them in Super Battle Road, right? Because most difficult endgame content is only against one enemy. But the problem is, in Super Battle Road, raw defense doesn't really cut it unless you have incredibly high defense. So the fact that they didn't give him guard or some kind of damage reduction, I think is a little bit disappointing. So then we have our man Thad here, says every 2021 Dokkan Fest is better than Raditz. Trying to think of one off the top of my head. The most recent Dokkan Fest exclusive he's better than is STR Kefla. Yeah, people really don't like STR Kefla. I don't really know. Again, this is the kind of statement like that I wouldn't be comfortable making until I actually see him in game, saying that like every 2021 Dokkan Fest is better than him. But, you know, people are definitely being very underwhelmed by his kit overall. Disappointed in his kit. I feel like the fact he's an AoE really hindered his potential as a 200% lead. His links are good for the teams he can be ran on. I'm happy the Saiyan Saga is an actual category now, but Raditz could have been better. I feel like this is a general consensus that most people would agree with. Saiyan Saga is definitely something we needed to be in the game, but Raditz definitely could have been designed better. That is absolutely true. Sipping Hot Cocoa says physical Broly hits harder. So I've seen people tweeting this already. Physical Dragon Ball Super Broly, who is also an AoE unit, has a higher attack stat or similar attack stat to Raditz in like a general AoE situation. Now obviously when you're fighting one enemy, he does get a bunch of extra attack buffs and stuff like that. Now obviously Raditz does get guaranteed crits if he gets hit first, so his attack stat being slightly lower is kind of offset by him getting a crit, but obviously that's still, his attack stats are not particularly impressive. Tech Raditz unironically better in ESBR, despite Dokkan Fest Raditz being made for it. I mean, Raditz, I for the longest time used him when I was trying to do the Extreme Tech No Items run, but obviously he wasn't on like a 170 lead then, let alone a 200% lead. So unironically, Tech Raditz is going to be ridiculously good in Super Battle Road on this new Raditz's team. Worse than Tech Gohan, yep, of course someone had to mention that. No farmer power level slander, true. No mention of farmer with a shotgun in his active skill or his intro or anything. Facade of a leader skill that only powers up Daddy and his team. Bardock and his squad. Yeah, the 200% team, it doesn't really add new units who didn't have a 200% team before, other than most of like the Bardock squad, like there's LR Bardock. So his 200% lead, I feel like this is something we could see a lot in the future, where they don't just drop like groundbreaking 200% leads that encompass loads of categories. It'll be more like a niche kind of team, because obviously the full 200% team for this Raditz is going to be only really a certain select group of units. So that is going to be interesting to see what they do for going forwards. Our boy Smartimus Prime, he's going to be way better than people expect, and people will change their minds, like 90% of the units. Definitely going to be interesting to see what he looks like in-game. Luca Dokkan replied saying that we can see his numbers. I have a post brought up that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. But yeah, we can kind of tell what his numbers are in-game. Yeah, this is Vector here saying you'll see when we get the Dokkan World upload, because I have nothing against Dokkan World. I know I've said before in the past I don't personally like Dokkan content without commentary, but one thing that I always that I don't particularly like about his content is he always puts the attack stat on the thumbnail, but it's always like super inflated, unrealistic, like loads of support rotation kind of number. Because I remember he did the same like Rainbow 200% team showcase as me, like the day after, and I did my best to get the highest attack stat that I could for the unit in a realistic team setting, and then on his thumbnail the attack stat was like 2 million higher than I managed to get in my video. So I know he always puts like the top level extreme, but I can imagine his thumbnail we're going to see Raditz at like 8 or 9 million or something stupid, and then people will see what they say. But Alan here said give him events, not Supreme. Obviously he's an AoE unit, but at the end of the day, like if they want to make these new units hype for people to summon and waste their stones before big events like the anniversary and stuff, then yeah, just make him an immense AoE unit, and then he would be better and people would be more hyped to summon for him. So attack and defense 50% when forming a super should be free from any condition. I agree. Add attack 50% per existing enemy up to 150. This would actually make him insane for like the AoE for Super Battle Road. And then add guards all before attacking. Yeah, again, that would make him super, super good. So He looks like he's missing another 100% attack and defense at the start of the turn. He should have been able to have some tech, like maybe with the AoE, he could also have a medium chance to stun. Or, you know, a scouter effect, considering he's the guy that introduced them to the goddamn anime. I saw loads of people saying this. The fact that Raditz does not have a scouter effect, I think is actually ridiculous. He is the perfect unit that should have had one. If physical Piccolo can have a scouter effect, why does Raditz not have a scouter effect? Like a character that it actually makes perfect sense. So, Chubbs over here says he's fine. Finally brings in one of the most wanted categories and has a great leader skill in general. He's definitely not as overwhelmingly powerful as Ginyu or Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but he's nowhere near a bad unit. I think this is probably where the dust will settle on this Raditz, when we get to see him in game and see him in a bunch of different situations and stuff. That I think the end result is probably just going to be that, yeah, he's fine. Like, he's okay. He's alright. He's pretty good. I feel like those are the things you're going to hear people say, rather than him being great or being trash, but I guess we'll have to see. So we did have a long set of replies here from Luca Dokkan, our boy, so we're going to go through these very quickly. Really underwhelming. It's like Easy A, STR Broly, and Super Vegeta had a son together. Not too good defense, needs to get hit for his full damage. Nothing to help him age well. No scout, no evasion, no damage reduction, no stacking. He can look good on showcase setups, but that's it. Leader skill is pretty useless too. He's basically just a pure Saiyan lead, and he's not the best. Saiyan Saga good units are literally just pure Saiyans, and he doesn't link well with the others. 200% leader skill, 98% of the units he cover are okay at best or need an Easy A. Look at this. We should make Team Bardock Easy A too, or this would be so bad. Yeah, his 200% team literally is like all of the Team Bardock units, Turles's, Raditz's, Nappa's, and like Saiyan Saga Vegetas, and that's basically it. So it's definitely not like a crazy hype team that I imagine people are going to be super excited to run. And then, yeah, like, out of these units, most of them are, like, Team Bardock. Half of them are free-to-play cards. So, yeah, definitely not the best in terms of how exciting his team is going to be. That is definitely a very good point. So, shout out to Kensei. Been making me some fire 200% thumbnails lately. People are going to have him at 55% unless you're a whale or if you like the character. He has a terrible link set except for battle. His leader skill is not it. Actually, the worst pure Saiyans leader skill again. White Space Traveling Warriors. He feels like it was made in 2020. Yeah, that is a good point. Like, obviously, we're talking about when I've been trying to say that, you know, maybe he is going to be better than people think. I'm talking about Rainbow level 10 links. But if you're somebody who you summon and you only get one copy, then yeah, he's probably not going to be looking super good at 55%, which is a little bit unfortunate. So Dokkan got to stop doing this to characters that won't get another card for 37 years. Yeah, Spirit here saying that the Int Broly and Tech Kale and Caulifla are both better than Raditz. I'd probably agree. I mean, Tech Kale and Caulifla are designed for long events. So again, until we see him in game, I'm not too sure. But I don't know if I'd go as far as to say they're better than him in Super Battle Road without seeing them in game, obviously. But Broly, I do think is super underrated. So I probably would agree that Broly is better than Raditz, like pretty clear. YTK says AGL Mid-Dog is better than Baditz. Look at these poor father and son getting called Mid-Dog and Baditz, but there you go. So Mr. T, wait till he releases in the game, that 100% attack buff could trigger mid-turn, which could leave him be a decent floating AoE unit with a high chance to crit. Let's be patient first and not jump the gun instantly. I mean, I do agree with this, right? Because remember, there are units like Android 21 with her Easy A, where she can actually lose part of her passive mid-turn because it's based on an HP restriction. So it would be interesting to see if this can actually trigger mid-turn if you lose HP, because then, yeah, on like a pure Saiyans team for Super Battle Road, you could use him as a floating unit that is just there for the leader skill, doing the AoE, and then maybe he could be pretty good. So Alan did mention some changes earlier. He did create a full concept, but I don't want to go too long into the video. We did already show one of Alan's comments, so I'm not going to show this full concept, but obviously you can check out this thread if you want to see it. Our boy Platty says, I think he's going to surprise people only when he is facing one enemy under 50% HP. Otherwise, he is in fact Baditz. I'm sure they were going to make Nappa the Dokkan Fest exclusive unit, but by mistake gave Raditz the leader skill. Even Raditz animations suck, and we all know that Nappa is better for the role he is for. I disagree with this. I think Raditz's super attack animation is pretty cool. I watched it for the first time earlier when I did that video, and I think his animation is pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of people saying that Nappa is better than the Raditz. Shout out to NB Anime for that. Xeno AM says he's good, not great, but not the worst. They could have done way better, obviously, but it's all speculation before we see any kind of showcase. I doubt he will slander all expectation and become the best unit, but I'm sure post a few showcases, people's opinions will change. Very, very true and very possible. Neo Siva says the side banner unit unironically looks better in literally every regard except links and the leader skill. He's got a place that isn't insanely niche, godly defense unit, and basically the new best friend to LR Goku Vegeta, and is someone I'm actually willing to slot on a stack team like Pure Saiyans. Yeah, Nappa definitely seems very, very good. So yeah, Annie, there was a lot of Raditz slander coming from Annie I saw earlier. Some of it may be a bit over the top. And actually, this is the tweet I was thinking about. So, doesn't add any new units to 200%. I think he does add the Bardock units, but not a lot of people don't care about that. 0 SBR utility, 3 million attack stats, guaranteed crits only after taking 100k normals. I mean, this is specifically in Pure Saiyan Super Battle Road with no items active, right? So the thing I sometimes get annoyed about when people are discussing units, and I get it, people are deliberately over the top for the sake of like being inflammatory on Twitter and stuff like that. But when you say he has 0 SBR ability or utility, when he's like an AoE unit that can get guaranteed crits and post super attack will have fairly good defense, I don't think you can really say he has 0 utility. But yeah, I feel like people very often just say stuff like that, like to be over the top, because I think saying 0 SBR utility is a bit of an exaggeration, considering he is an AoE unit that can get the guaranteed crits. I mean, obviously he's not going to be going crazy, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he actually does in Pure Saiyans Extreme Super Battle Road. So I don't know if this is supposed to be SOG or SOG, but shout out to being a fan of Joseph Joestar. We'd love to see that. He won't turn out as bad as people make him out to be. He'll be average at best, just above average. I won't really call him BADITZ, but they definitely shouldn't have held back so much on him. I mean, this is the thing, right? They made Ginyu so good, and the person with the earlier reply that said they need to stop doing this with characters that they're not going to make regularly. Like, we're going to get 1 million Goku and Vegetas, so it doesn't matter if every now and then one of them isn't that great. But when are we ever going to get another Dokkan Fest Raditz? Like, I can't remember when the Tech Raditz came out, but like, we are not going to get another Raditz card potentially ever, if not for like years. So why did they hold back on him when they don't hold back on other units? It is kind of confusing. But DBZ Lords says people's expectations get way too high after a unit comes out, no matter what, so any unit after is always going to be criticized harder than the last. That's why I think Raditz is fine, because not every unit has to be better than the last. That's not how gacha games operate. I mean, in a way, it kind of is and should be how they operate, because if they drop a new unit and it's not better than the last unit, then you don't need to summon for it, so then you don't need to spend money. So in theory, gacha games should always be releasing new units that are better than the previous units. But I do kind of get what you're saying. Like, obviously everyone expects the next new unit to be the new best unit in the game, and then when it isn't, they immediately jump to then saying that that unit is bad, which is not necessarily the case. So, best 2020 Dokkan Fest unit, worst 2021 Dokkan Fest unit. Yeah, a lot of people saying that he feels like a 2020 card. So, his only good aspect is his leader skill. This man has been disrespected for too long. True. The attack and defense 50% when performing a super portion of his passive should be free, and that alone would make him so much better. I definitely agree with that, because he does raise attack and defense on super anyway, but having that extra part in his passive would definitely go a long way to making him a lot better. As he is, he can't even reach 400k defense without help. It's 2022, and this is a Dokkan Fest exclusive without good numbers, damage reduction, or utility. So, yeah, very true. Shout out to Proton. I have no idea what this says, but Decaloni is the @ he's probably going to be the most underrated Dokkan Fest of 2022. This is pretty much the same situation as Exchange Vegeta, where people underestimated how good he is before and after he came out. He's also going to be amazing for World Tournament, which we all hate. True, World Tournament, but the thing is, the current World Tournament strat is to use like a full LR team, and a lot of there are a lot of AoE units. So Raditz is a better unit for the World Tournament in terms of the fact that he's an AoE unit, but if you want to grind hard and fast to get as many points as possible, you want to use a full LR team anyway. But he definitely will be a good World Tournament option for people. I've already come across a Tech Gohan is better tweet before actually getting to see the unit. Yep, that's Dokkan Twitter for you. Poorly designed and probably dead on arrival. Raditz suffers from not only having, in my opinion, kind of boring animations, but a boring kit as well. I will say Raditz fans were really dead set on him and Dokkan Twitter, and to be honest, they deserve better. True. Definitely would have been very good. Sora just replied with an LMAO. Sora was posting a bunch of the calcs and saying that Raditz is absolutely terrible. I mean, yeah, fair enough. He doesn't look great necessarily. Sora was another one of these people using over-the-top language. I think he said he's literally worthless in Super Battle Road, which, again, for an AoE unit that can crit, obviously he's not worthless, but yeah, he's definitely not as good as some of the other options. Yeah, he says he has too many restrictions that you can't easily get activated at once, which is true. That holds him back from doing good numbers, which is just bad for a numbers unit. True. It's very disappointed to do Raditz. I found his design very meh, despite being an area damage card. Won't hold in the red zone. Yeah, like in the red zone, even if he can get a decent attack stat against one enemy, he's not going to have great defense. So that is unfortunate. He will not be good for the red zone. Stupidly defensive Nappa. In my opinion, Nappa should be the Dokkan Fest and not Raditz. Yep. Shout out to Yannick. He's like a real radish. He's okay, but nobody is going, damn, I really got to have some radishes right now. True. Being purely designed for Super Battle Road today isn't good in my opinion. He doesn't have many stages to be used right now. Have to be fair, this could change over time, which is true. Supreme damage on a 2022 Dokkan Fest is straight up clownery. His active skill can be used against one enemy even though he's an SBR unit. I mean, I don't mind about that too much because in Super Battle Road, active skills can be really good for finishing off the last enemy so you don't get hit with one of those really annoying, like, the enemy survived with a tiny sliver of health and now they super attack you in slot 1 because you can just use an active skill to take them out. So I don't mind too much about that, but I have seen a lot of people saying that they don't like the fact that he has a one enemy only active skill when he seems to be more of a Super Battle Road unit. So there are a lot of replies. Obviously people going crazy on this, but yeah, Tang, I got to see him in action first. Every 2021 Dokkan Fest exclusive is better. His 200% lead is by far the worst released so far, and he's going to age badly because his kit has no tech to it. I'd go as far as to say he's worse than every Dokkan Fest exclusive released after STR Kefla. So, yeah, someone else pointing out the Turles Easy A thing. STR Cooler is clear of BADITZ. Man, I don't know about that. I don't care about his offensive side. They designed him as a tank. He should at least be good on that side. He needs more defense or damage reduction. Otherwise, being able to see the super for a few turns with the active skill be good. Yeah, there's so many things they could have done to make him better, and they did not. And then the last one I wanted to show here, Raditz on his way to compete with this, with his Supreme Damage Multiplier. Remember, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is coming out on Global in a couple of days. And now, this is a rainbow. I'm not going to zoom in on the screenshots here because I've got my screen set up the right size to just show tweets. But this is from a Rainbow Level 10 Link showcase of Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the turn where he gets 4 super attacks. And they're all literally like 7, 8, or 9 million attack stats. So yeah, this is the kind of unit that apparently they're happy to release. But then they release Raditz the way he is. And then Ginyu as well. So it really shows you that, like, why do they hold back on some of these units and then other units they just don't at all? Like, this is a very good point. He just needs guard so he can tank that hit in slot 1 and then get the guaranteed crit. That would be much, much better. But yeah, shout out to everybody who did reply. There are way more replies on this than I expected. But one thing I did wanted to show right at the end here is our boy Energies over here loaded these guys up into like the custom card creator thing, like people use to make custom cards on the private server. Because now that we know the stats and the passive and everything, even though this is technically the tech Raditz in terms of the art and the sprite, by putting his information into the game, you can see what you get out on the other end. So with one enemy under 50% HP with 40% support when he's getting his full buffs against... This is the highest attack stat he'll be able to get pretty much on a realistic team against a single enemy. He's at 7.28 million, which is pretty good. But his defense is 250 before supering. So that'll be what, like with the extra 50% and the attack and defense raise on super, it's probably going to be what, 350, maybe slightly lower. Which is not great, again, especially for something like the red zone. And then, yeah, when facing 2 super class enemies with 70% HP. Like, this is basically what you would see in like Pure Saiyans Extreme Super Battle Road. 2.9 million and 250k defense, which is not particularly good. So I did retweet this. Make sure you go check out this thread if you want to see more of Raditz's numbers. But yeah, the community definitely not happy. I did make a tweet myself. I said, you know what, screw it. I was trying to defend Raditz, or at least I say defend, try and see how take the glass half full kind of mentality. But in the end, I just said, you know what, screw it. Let's just get BADITZ trending, and then maybe they will fix him before release, because that has actually happened once in the past, at least once. I believe it was Physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is the one that I know definitely was changed after the feedback from the community was like completely negative. But yeah, I mean, if you've been on Twitter at all today, you can see people are not happy. And I saw a meme, I saw a post from Minato about the JP side as well. Apparently JP players are not particularly happy with his kit either. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you did leave a reply and I didn't get to into the video, I do apologize. Make sure you let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section about this physical Dokkan Fest Raditz. And who knows, maybe they will buff him, and or maybe we'll see the showcases in game and he will actually be more impressive than we thought. I guess we will have to wait and see. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.